the homeless boy. In the city of Chicago, one cold, dark night, a blizzard was setting in. A little boy was selling newspapers on the corner. The people were in and out of the cold. The little boy was so cold that he wasn't trying to sell many papers. He walked up to the policeman and said, "Mister, you wouldn't happen to know where a poor boy could find a warm place to sleep tonight, would you? You see, I sleep in a box up around the corner, there and down the alley, and it's awful cold in there for tonight. Sure would be nice to have a warm place to stay." The policeman looked down at the little boy and said, "You go down the street to that big white house and knock on the door. When they come out of the door, you just say, 'John 3:16, and they will let you in." So he did. He walked up the steps and knocked on the door, and a lady answered. He looked up and said, "John 3:16. The lady said, "Come on in, son." She took him in, and she sat him down in a split bottom rocker in front of a great big fireplace, and she went off. The boy sat there for a while and thought to himself, "John 3:16? I don't understand it, but it sure makes the cold boy warm." Later she came back and asked him, "Are you hungry?" He said, "Well, just a little. I haven't eaten in a couple of days, and I guess I could stand a little bit of food." The lady took him in the kitchen, sat him down to a table full of wonderful food. He ate and he ate until he couldn't eat no any more. Then he thought to himself, "John 3:16. Boy, I sure don't understand it, but it sure makes a hungry boy full." She took him upstairs to a bathroom, to a huge bathtub filled with warm water, and he sat there and soaked for a while. As he soaked, he thought to himself, "John 3:16, I sure don't understand it, but it sure makes a dirty boy clean. You know, I've not had a real bath in my whole life. The only bath I ever had was when I stood in front of that big old fire hydrant as they flushed it out." The lady came in and got him. She took him to a room, tucked him into a big old feathered bed, pulled the covers up around his neck, kissed him goodnight, and turned out the lights. As he lay in the darkness, he looked out the window at the snow coming down on the cold night. He thought to himself, "John 3:16, I don't understand it, but it sure makes a tired body rested." The next morning, the lady came back up and took him down and to the same table full of food. After he ate, she took him down again to that same big old split bottom rocker in front of the fireplace and picked up a big old Bible. She sat down in front of him and looked into his young face. "Do you understand John 3:16? she asked gently. He replied, "No, ma'am, I don't. The first time I ever heard it was last night when the policeman told me to use it." She opened the Bible to John 3:16 and she began to explain to him about Jesus. Right there in front of that big old fireplace, he gave his heart and life to Jesus. He sat there and thought, "John 3:16, I don't understand it, but it sure makes a lost boy feel safe. You know, I have to confess, I don't understand it either. How God was willing to send His Son to die for me, and how Jesus would agree to do such a thing. I don't understand the agony of the Father and every angel in heaven as they watched Jesus suffer and die. I don't understand the intense love for me that kept Jesus on the cross till the end. I don't understand it, but sure does make life worth living. John 3:16, for God so loved the world that He gave His only begotten Son, that Whosoever believeth in him should not perish, but have everlasting life. And this is The Voice by Tabitha, and I want to wish every one of y'all a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.